One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. That was a terrible slap, but okay. So one of my friends and I have been rewatching Black Butler. And I thought, since we're going to be watching Black Butler, we need to rewatch all of Black Butler. And that includes the 2010 released Black Butler sequel called Black Butler 2. And I still hate it 10 years later. I want to first start off with the fact that I weirdly couldn't find Black Butler 2. It was on Funimation, I think, and then it went to Netflix, and for a while on Netflix, it was only Black Butler 2. You couldn't watch the season 1. And so I texted my friend one morning while I was at work, and I was like, I can't find Black Butler 2. And I made this whole conspiracy theory that they're trying to hide Black Butler 2 and pretend that it never existed, and all this really just kind of funny stuff. And that very night, at midnight, I think, I was on my phone, I was on Netflix, and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, I'm just gonna see and watch. And I noticed on Black Butler, it said something about season 2 and season 3. It wasn't actually season 3, it was the OVAs. And I was like, wait, did they just release the Black Butler 2? And it turns out they did, and I felt like a total goof, and I texted my friend, I was like, they released Black Butler 2, it exists, oh my gosh. It was a weird conundrum that happened, and it was just really, really funny. Now that's out of the way, I just want to first say that hate is a strong word, and it's kind of a word I low-key try not to use a lot, but I do use a lot, but, oh my gosh. Oh my god, I loathe Black Butler 2. This was one of the hardest 13 episode binge watches I've ever experienced, and I don't ever want to experience it again. I'd rather go watch something like Ghost Stories instead of having to rewatch Black Butler 2. That's how much I personally loathe this series. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, I love Black Butler, the story that Yana Toboso is writing. Not this actual perverted writing of this anime that these creators have made. Yana Toboso's writing is really, really fun. I'm still currently keeping up with the current chapters that are released, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of twists and turns, let's just say. And it's all great, I love it. And that should lead me into the next thing, which is, this is going to be very spoiler heavy. This video is more for myself, and I guess for people who have seen at least all of the anime adaptations of Black Butler. If you read the manga, good job, good for you, that's for you as well, but you should at least know from Black Butler season 1 all the way to the movie Book of the Atlantic. Not that I'm really going to be getting into detail of those, but I will be mentioning stuff here and there from those, so it's good to at least know the anime of it. And of course, know Black Butler 2, because that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm actually going to first give a little backstory for those who might not know what Black Butler 2 is. It's pretty common knowledge. Again, the thing came out in 2010, so it's been a while. It's been literally a decade since this came out. Most people within at least the Black Butler community know what Black Butler 2 is, but if you don't, let me just give a little, backstory of what it is. I want to first rewind to Black Butler Season 1, which released in 2008. Now, that was when a lot of times anime was still 24 episodes, so this was 24 episodes, plus an additional 25th episode, which was a funny little Hamlet OVA. I don't know, they just did. But of those 24 episodes, only 9 of them are actual adaptations of the actual manga that was written at the time. I can't say for sure how much of the manga was actually written when it released, but since it came out in 2008 and Black Butler released, I think the manga at least released in 2006, if I remember correctly, And every chapter comes out every month, so I'm guessing that there wasn't a lot of the manga to adapt at the time, which what happened a lot back then. The anime-only episodes created for season 1 was episodes 7 through 12, and then 16 through 24. And of course, just like a lot of anime back then, and still to this day, there was an anime original ending. I also just want to point out that I low-key thought, for a while, I don't know why, but I thought the stuff with Prince Soma and Agni, I thought that was like all anime only. And then when my friend and I rewatched Black Butler season 1, I was like, wait, this is the first time we meet these characters. So how does that work? Because I thought it was anime only after all the Jack the Ripper stuff, and I was like, wait, how does Prince Soma and Agni come in all this? And I was like, oh, this is canon. Oh, this is an actual anime. Okay, I was very dumb as a child, so now I know. Now, when Black Butler 2 was released, I was about 10 years old. I don't remember if I watched it in 2010 exactly, but I remember watching it when I was probably a bit too young. And I should also really, really quickly mention that this is a mature anime. This is rated mature. I will be talking about very mature things, very adult things, so please, if you are not over 18, please don't watch this video. Or I guess if you want to just say fuck it, viewer discretion is advised, because trust me, we're going to at least be kind of talking about just very adult things that we're sadly still struggling with today. I started watching Black Butler when I was young. Black Butler 2 released in 2010, and I watched it, I guess, soon after it released. And at the time, I loved it. I mean, Season 1 and Black Butler 2 were the only Black Butler things we had. So having more Black Butler, even if it wasn't manga adaptations, it was still great to see these characters again, because obviously we love Ciel and Sebastian. And it was kind of cool to see some new characters like Alois and Claude. You know, it's interesting. How are we going to have another demon butler and a masters? How is that going to play out? Let's just say it didn't play out very well, because it's not very good, and I get a headache just thinking about it. I'm getting a headache right now as I think about it. I want to first start off that the story of this series is a low-key mess. The first episode, we're introduced to Alois and Claude, the new master and the new butler that we meet, and we kind of see their dynamic in their relationship, which I will address, but later, so we'll get to that later. And we're also introduced to, of course, the other servants within the Transy estate. It's not that they're not very important, low-key spoilers, but they're not important, really, to the story. But again, we'll move on to that later. And it's interesting to see, you know, you're kind of intrigued. What is this new master and this new demon butler, like, what's their whole dynamic? Especially with the whole, what would you call it? The whole cliffhanger with the ending of the episode where Sebastian, you know, somehow Ciel's soul was stolen, or something happened with Ciel's soul, and so Sebastian had to go get it. And that, you know, it's a really fun introduction. I will give the anime that. But it's weird because then from episode 2 to about episode 4 or 5, if I remember correctly, we forget about them. we then focus again on Ciel and Sebastian and all the other characters who you're like, how are you still alive? You died in season 1, Lao and Ranmao, but here we are. We almost forget that Alois exists. There are a few mentions, I think, within episode 4 and 5 of a spider, but it's not like we see Alois or Claude directly interact with the characters we already know. It's like we literally forget about them until we get to the Halloween ball at the Transy estate. And the thing is about the story is, for me, the mystery wasn't like an intriguing, like I wasn't intrigued. I wasn't like, I want to see more, what's gonna happen more. I mean, I already know what happens because I've already watched it, I've seen it before, but it's one of those things where, like, if I was a viewer, I wouldn't be very interested. I'm just annoyed because I'm confused more than anything. Everything is explained within like the last like 4 episodes of the series, and just stuff like it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense, and it's just so it gives me a headache. But the reasoning behind the mystery is also kind of stupid. Like, that was a stupid reason. Like, you know, like the whole stuff with Alois wanting Ciel, that's not explained until very much, again, at the Halloween Ball episode. But, you know, he's still just saying, you know, I want you, Ciel. But again, we're not really explained why specifically. What did Ciel do to Alois for him to hate him? And, you know, it's later revealed that Alois believes that Sebastian killed everyone in his village, which is really stupid. And what? That's stupid. One thing I also want to say is I really believe that the studio A1 Pictures, nothing against them, they're fine. I mean, they make this series and they adapt it, but I believe, at least from the research I didn't see anything about Yana Toboso having any direct writing or in the creative team with this series. I mean, it's very common that a lot of times it's like, do we have the okay to make this? And the author will be like, okay, go ahead and do it. But it kind of is sad to be like, okay, Yana Toboso had absolutely no say in this series. She didn't have any writing, like, she didn't do any of the writing, and so it's just kind of not sad, but, you know, you can very, very much see that this isn't her writing, this isn't her story, this is someone else's story. And also, I want to give a little positivity, but at the same time, it's not. The animation quality of this is very up and down. When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's bad. Again, this is an early 2000s anime, so especially a 2008 anime. The 2008 anime was very rough, and I almost feel like sometimes this anime, Black Butler 2, was almost worse in some ways, because, oh my gosh, when it's bad, it's bad. But of course, the action scenes are very excellent. It does low-key become a little dull, especially like when Sebastian and Claude are fighting for Ciel's soul, or whatever that whole ordeal was. When you're seeing it constantly, it's a little like, okay, I get it. Like, even then, like, the animators kind of flubbed it in a few places, but it's still very enjoyable to watch. And I low-key, like, this series specifically, I didn't realize how many, like, GIFs it's from, like, you can make from it. Like, it's a very GIFable series, and I didn't realize that until I watched it. I was like, that's a reaction shot, that's a reaction shot from many of the GIFs that I've seen within, online. And so I just thought that was really funny. I'm going to now be specifically talking about each character. They're not really in any particular order, they're just really in an order that I want to talk about. So the first character I'm going to talk about is actually Alois, Alois Trancy, or as I like to call him, Bootleg Ciel, because he wants to be like Ciel, but he's worse. He's just... I know there's people who love Alois and would probably die for him, or would also want to murder him as well. I don't know. But I know there's a lot of people who do really like Alois, which, good for you. That's cool. Love who you want. Like, he's quirky, and he's sadistic, and, you know, he's kind of crazy, and, oh my god, and he's got a sad backstory, so it feels sad, and that's kind of the problem, is he's, first of all, he's introduced as, like, this horrible, bratty character, which I get, like, you're kind of probably not supposed to like him because he's the villain, you know, you're supposed to like Ciel and Sebastian, but every time he's on screen, he's just annoying, and I don't know if it's specifically because the English dub, I watched this in English dub, not sub, oh my god, but if it's because of the English dub, which is still very good, I think it's one of the best English dubs, but I don't know, like, he's just so, I want to, like, just rip his hair out, and rip my hair out too, but, like, he just has, like, a very weird turn where he's introduced with him and Claude, their relationship, where it's almost seemed like they both hate each other. It almost seems like they despise each other, but I guess they don't, which is weird. But that suddenly it's like, no, Alois just wanted Claude's love. He wanted, you know, to, I don't know if being accepted is the word by Claude, but he wanted, you know, he relies on Claude, which makes sense in a way. But again, going with his backstory, it feels super fan-fiction-y. It honest to God sounds like, you know, if you wrote, you know, this is an OC character and this is their backstory, like, oh, it's just like Ciel, but worse. Oh, it's so worse. And that's where I'm going to talk about the pedo stuff real quick, because this is the part of his backstory that I feel like was unnecessary. Obviously, pedophilia is a very bad thing. I don't think anyone needs to be told that. And it's very, very uncomfortable, especially when the very first shot in this series is, you know, we just saw the aftermath of him sleeping with an older man, and it's just very uncomfortable, and I can't defend it. I can't defend it being in here, because I want to talk about how pedophilia is kind of addressed within the manga / Book of Circus, where even just, like, sex in general, but I'm going to talk about the sex part later, but I want to specifically talk about pedophilia, because in Book of Circus, there's implied pedophilia with the gentleman who kidnaps the children and who wants Ciel and wants to be the perfect being for Ciel. I don't remember his name specifically, and I'm not going to bother to look him up. But the man who took care of Joker and all the people in the circus who took them in at the orphanage. And it's like, you don't see this gentleman touching the kids weird. You don't see him, you know, he obviously, the way he talks about them is very disturbing and very strange. And the fact that he has these children performing and all these kind of twisted things is very disturbing. And I think that's all you really need. You don't need to show the fact that this man, you know, is sleeping with these kids, and we don't need to see, you know, not that we see the actual sex itself, but I don't need to know that this happens. I don't need to see Alois getting dressed up and dolled up for this gentleman. If anything, if I could have rewrote this, I would have just simply made Alois a servant and just made him be treated poorly, and then maybe he just kills the gentleman. And I feel like that would have been just a little bit better, because if you want to still have the feel sad, you know, but he's still within this trancey state, and he can still, I mean, after he gets Claude, he gets rid of everyone, even the old servants. So it's like, with anything we know, you could have just had Claude kill all the old servants, so that the idea that Alois killed this man and the truth getting out. I mean, anyway, it's something I just wanted to address because it's just gross. I don't like seeing it, and a lot of stuff within this series, I just don't enjoy seeing, like, it's just not necessary. Hi, this is editing me. I just really want to point out that it's fine that Black Butler addresses stuff like this. I'm not stupid to the fact that Black Butler is a mature show. It does deal with a lot of, like, whether it be issues or it just, you know, deals with a lot of adult themes. And the fact that pedophilia is in the show is not really what's bothering me. I guess what's bothering me is showing it, because Black Butler is never really something that outright shows these kinds of things. You just kind of know by clever writing and clever characterization where, you know, maybe the child is acting this certain way and the older man is acting this way towards the child. And so it's like, okay, something weird is going on, but you don't see the fact that you see the old man and the child together in bed naked. You know, you don't need to see that in order to kind of be like, okay, like, this is just pedophilia. I could be completely wrong, but I just kind of want to clear this part up, because I feel like I kind of mention it, but I just really want to be aware, like, yes, I'm aware that Black Butler is a mature show, and that it's okay for it to address these things, but again, I just feel like you don't need to do it the way that they wrote it for Black Butler 2, but anyway. But it's also interesting how, watching this as I'm older, I'm 21 now, and watching it, it's, how do I say this? Like, Alois wants to be like Ciel, but it's also interesting how Alois is almost like if Ciel didn't act like an adult. Like, Ciel could have been just this spoiled brat that relies heavily on his butler. Now, of course, Ciel still very much relies on Sebastian for a lot of things. It's very clear that when Yana Toboso writes the story and all the situation, it's very clear that Ciel can't really defend himself, which makes sense because he's a 13-year-old, so, you know, and he's not very big, he's not very strong, so it makes sense that he would heavily rely on Sebastian. But in a way, Alois relies on Claude in more ways than one, and it's not just, you know, making sure that I have my tea on time, or, you know, my meals and stuff like that. But it's strange because it turns into an affection, which is weird, and I'm like, okay. And speaking of Claude, let's talk about him, because I have mixed feelings of Claude. I very much do. But Claude Faustus is his name, or as I like to call him, the Sebastian wannabe, because that's what he is. Now, have you ever, like, looked at like a picture of food at a restaurant and you're like, damn, that freaking filet mignon, that looks so good, that filet mignon, and the mashed potatoes and the asparagus, oh, that looks so good, let me get that. And so you order it, and the food comes, and you bite into it, and it's like the blandest meal you've ever tasted, even though it looked so good, and it's like, you're just disappointed. Because that's how I feel about Claude. Claude is a very good-looking gentleman, because he wants to be like Sebastian. He's very good-looking, but the very character he's at least given just doesn't feel like him. You know, with Sebastian, we have little quirks to him. Sebastian, you know, he loves cats. Whenever he sees a cat, he has to stop and be like, oh, it's a cat, you know. Sebastian is a little sassy, you know, he's sassy even towards Ciel, which can get him in trouble once in a while. He sometimes breaks the rules with Ciel. But Claude, he just seems like he hates Alois, which I guess is the point, that they just don't like each other, so of course they would hate each other, but I don't know. The only thing I can give Claude is the fact that we have some glasses representation. As someone who wears glasses, it's very nice to see a gentleman, a character, wear glasses, and he's not just some nerdy character, like, ooh, so smart, that he still has his own style, and such. And I just kind of appreciate the glasses representation. But another thing I want to talk about with Claude is, first of all, his slogan is way too long. With Sebastian, it's simply, I'm simply one hell of a butler. Which makes sense. That's, like, it's such a quick and, like, little fun little, like thing to say. And, you know, it's usually after someone's like, you're so great, oh my gosh, how do you do it? And it's like, oh no, I'm simply one hell of a Butler. But with freaking Claude, I don't even remember what it really is. Something about spinning like something into gold, and it's just so long that it's just too long. Like, cut a few things out. Like, we don't it's just such a long slogan, and every time he says it, I'm like, I get it, you turn this into this, and you turn this into this, and that what makes you into a trancy Butler, and it's so long of a slogan. I can't express of how much I just really, really, really don't like how long his slogan. Like, you could have simply made it like, I turn this into this, I turn this into this, and be done. But he's like, I turn this into this like 4 to 5 times, and I'm like, I got it. You change things, and I want to like talk about how like his character does like a complete 180 shift after he specifically gets Ciel, and he changes Ciel's memories to thinking that he has Alois's past, and he hates Sebastian, and he's basically the Ciel's Butler, which, okay, that's dumb, and he's like got this like really just creepy like infatuation for Ciel, which I low-key hate. I'm watching him just like, stop, like, why are you, and then the licking, oh my gosh. I didn't mention this with Alois, and I don't know how I missed that, but the whole licking stuff is super freaking uncomfortable, and don't even get me started on the spider shit. Every time, I swear, I'm make this into a freaking drinking game with this, because every time Claude or anyone mentions spider, arachnid, or anything like webs with like anything spider related, take a shot, because I was actually losing my mind. I was like, I got it, you're a spider, he's entangled in your web and shit. And my friend mentioned this where with Sebastian, it's kind of implied that he's a crow and stuff. It's not an outright thing that Sebastian is a crow. It's just kind of a fun little like animal motif, I guess you could call it, or animal symbolism with Sebastian. But with Claude, it's like completely obvious. Even the family crest for the transies, and the name of the transies, their nickname is Spider, and it's just it's so annoying and obnoxious to hear. It was almost as annoying as in season 1, where we constantly heard about Ciel suffering, and we always got the flashbacks of Ciel suffering. It's kind of like that, where like, I get it, like, I get it, you don't need to keep telling me. I got it like the first 3 times, like, you don't, and it's like every time he's on screen, he's got to talk about it. And it just, as you can tell, it really just, it ruffles my feathers, and it's not fun. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna take another drink, cause anyway, I'm gonna take another drink, cause so nice. Next character. Now we're gonna get into
Anyway, that's my background. It's so nice.
the 2 characters that we actually
So
like,
nice.
Ciel and Sebastian. First of all, obviously, we're going to start off with Ciel, and how do I even start with Ciel? I have my notes here, and I'm just kind of like, where do I even start, really? I mean, the thing is that Ciel's pretty much the same in this. I mean, I can't really, like, think of anything that he's really off. I guess the memory loss stuff. Okay, actually, let me start with that. The memory loss stuff is, oh my god. The memory loss stuff is, like, the stupidest idea ever. It's dumb. And it's literally just there so that we can be reintroduced to who all the old characters are in season 1. Like, you know, if you don't know who the Undertaker is, or you don't know who Lau and Ran Mao are, or you don't know who Elizabeth is, like, you know, they're gonna be like, oh, this is this person, like, you know, this person, like, from this, and or like the Grim Reapers, you're like, oh yeah, these are Grim Reapers, and this is Grell, and this is William, and, well, William's not really in it, and we'll get to that, but it's literally just there, just so we can be like, who's this character? Oh, it's this character, don't you remember? And then all the stuff with, like, Prince Soma at the Halloween party, with, you know, having Ciel having to remember, and the fact that Ciel remembers, like, has his memories back at the Trancy estate is this, like, it's just so stupid. Why is it, like, this specific, like, not spot, but this specific event you have to remember? You weren't, like, he wasn't even conscious when Sebastian went to the Trancy estate to get back, I guess, his soul, which I guess Ciel's soul is in his ring? I don't know. That's confusing too. I don't know how, like, it's just weird. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that, but it's the whole, like, you know, I guess, so, like, the ring is, like, the embodiment of Ciel's soul, which they kind of reference in season 1, where, you know, the blue gem on Ciel's ring, which it's something with souls. I don't remember specifically, but it was at the ice statue, like, event, and I don't know. It's like, that's it, and, like, in the manga, it's like, no, it's just this really special ring to Ciel. Like, that's all it is. It's not like this, like, it's for your soul. It's an embodiment of your soul, and but I guess I don't even know if you want to call it a gripe or a problem, but the whole thing with Demon Ciel, like, Ciel turning into a demon, I'm not really mad about the fact that Ciel turns into a demon. It's the fact that, like, he kind of just, like, gets rid of everything. Like, he leaves his home, he leaves his servants, he leaves, you know, he leaves basically his fiancé. I don't know, this just seems very out of character. At least I feel like it's very out of character for him. I don't know what the issue is, but it's just, I think it's just because it's such a depressing way to end the series. Like, oh, okay, we're leaving, we're gone, like, burn down, you know, the estate that my parents lived in, and that I have lovely memories in, even though I also have traumatic, like, it's just weird because Ciel takes such pride in being a Phantom Hive, and I guess it, like, getting rid of everything and saying he's dead is easier for him because he was framed by, I don't even know who he's really framed by. I would assume, like, Claude, like, that he was framed, and his name is ruined, so he can't really be the Queen's guard dog anymore, and like, I don't know, it feels very out of character for him, and it feels just, I guess I'm just mad because it just makes a very depressing ending. Like, it's like, okay, they're together now, it's forever, like, they're together forever because Ciel can't die because he's a demon, and it's just because I remember when we finished it, we were, if it's so important, leave me a message. Where was I? I don't remember. I was talking about Demon Ciel. Oh, okay, I remember. Sorry, I got interrupted. And the thing is that going back to my friend and I, when we finished the series, and it was just like, we finished it and we was like, it was just so depressing. Like, it was just such a sad way to end the show. And, I mean, I can't really imagine Black Butler, at least the manga, is going to end on a very high note, because, I mean, Sebastian's probably going to take Ciel's soul, or, I don't know, I'm not the writer, obviously, but, I don't know, it just felt so off. And I know that Black Butler isn't always the most happy-go-lucky series, but it just felt really strange for Ciel, at least for Ciel to just kind of leave everything behind and just leave everyone in his life. But I guess if you're gonna pretend that you died, then, I mean, I guess that's what you gotta do. Moving on to, like, the best character, I mean, arguably, but Sebastian, my man, my boy. Why did I just hit the table? But yeah, he's still hot. I can't be mad. It's Sebastian, and J. Michael Tatum is still really, really good at, like, you know, having this great performance for him, and his character probably does feel a little off. I can't really give any specifics, but it probably is. I don't know. It's hard because I just love Sebastian, and just to see him, and he's still very much Sebastian, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it's just, I don't really have many complaints for Sebastian, because he's still really, like, he's really the highlight of this series, and he's really the only reason why I got through it. It's actually interesting, because something I never noticed before, but my friend pointed out, was in season, and they kind of pointed out too, I guess, in Black Butler 2, but in season 1, Sebastian lost his left arm, which had his contract seal on the back of his hand. So it was interesting because then they kind of make that the whole, like, oh, that's how Ciel got his soul stolen by Claude, because he didn't have his contract seal or something, which you would think, I always found that weird, because it's like, well, Sebastian, you're a demon, just grow your arm back, why are you, like, wasting time? Like, I don't know, I just found that weird, but it was something my friend pointed out, and I just wanted to point it out in this video in case maybe other people didn't notice as well. And I just thought, like, I was like, oh, I didn't notice that before. That's interesting. So, yeah. I mean, wait, oh my gosh, how did I almost forget this? We got to see Dear Man. Dear Man! Dear Man! Dear Man! Oh my gosh. That's why, truly, that's the only reason why this is a 2 out of 10, because we get to see Dear Man. And I love Dear Man. Dear Man is great. I love that scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please just look up Dear Man Sebastian, or Dear Head Sebastian, or whatever it's called, because it's so funny. It's so funny. I'm also going to be talking about the OVAs later, and I'm going to mention one OVA that many people probably know about that has Sebastian in it. So, but I'm going to talk about that later. But now I want to talk about a character that she has the longest list of bullet points on my list, so we're probably going to be here talking about her for a while. She has it even longer than Alois, which I actually was really, really surprised. But it's Hannah. I'm not really going to try to remember her last name. I didn't even bother to write it down, because that's just how much she has no importance. Let me just start off by saying that Hannah, basically, at least when we're introduced to her, she's just like all the, like, just the servants that aren't, or the characters within the trancey state that aren't Claude or Alois. No character, no personality. They're just there to be servants. And I guess the point of Hannah is, at least from episode 1, is to show how evil and mean Alois is, or I guess sadistic Alois is, and, you know, he abuses, you know, her, and I'd like to just really mention how her, the one only, I mean, she have the someones, but she's a dark-skinned character that's abused by a white boy, and, yikes. Anyway, moving on. But I feel like she's also just kind of the mandatory maid to have for the estate. You know, how, like, you know, there's May Rin, so, oh, we gotta have a maid, you know. I mean, it makes sense. This is a mansion, so it makes sense you're gonna have a maid, but I don't know. You could just write her out of the story. I mean, you can't really write her out of the story because she has some plot relevance, but, I just mainly want to focus on the fact that, you know, how just sexualized she is. And it's not the first time, obviously. And I don't mind fan service in it, but this is just a series that it's not fan servicey, and it just feels really off, especially, again, just compared to the actual adaptations of the actual manga, where, you know, this Black Butler 2 is written by a man, and the manga is written by a woman, so it's very interesting. It's just very interesting, because I want to specifically talk about the designs of Hana and Mei Rin and even Ran Mao, because even though they're one of the very few women within the series, and it's just very interesting how Hana, you know, she's given this much more sexy maid kind of look to her, and I mean, it, like, the fact that she's slim and stuff makes sense because she's wearing a corset. This is the 1800s. You wear corsets. And by the way, these are not corsets that are going to tighten and kill you. That's not how a corset works, and I wish that we would stop believing that. But it's interesting how her compared to someone like, I'm totally blanking, Mei Rin, who is also a maid, where she's very slim, she has very, very full breasts as well, which makes sense. I mean, she has a sort of, like, she looks good, but she still, it has, like, a typical maid. Like, I mean, looking at, like, Hana's design that just flashed up on my screen, it has a very anime look to her. It doesn't, because I mean, I'm not looking for historical accuracy within Black Butler. This is, again, an anime. This is, you know, it's a fantasy, like, series, a fantasy mystery. And so I'm not looking for exact historical accuracy, but with Mei Rin, it's interesting to see how she still has that very, you know, not nice figure, but she has a very, like, looking at her, you're like, ooh, like, damn, she looks good. But her maid dress is still designed to be a typical maid dress within the 1800s. It's not this weird, like, blue with purple. Even, what was her name? Angela from season 1. Even though she kind of had, like, this kind of, she was of maid design, but it also wasn't, like, a sexy kind of maid. And Hana, I feel like, specifically, she has this sexy maid design to her. And also, again, someone with, like, Ran Mao, where a lot of times Ran Mao is, you know, she's showing off her breasts, or, you know, she's being very sexy, but we never specifically have shots of her, whether it be Ran Mao or Mei Rin, where we have shots of their naked body. You know, I'm thinking specifically of the scene of where Alois makes Hana strip down to her undergarments because he wants to somehow wear her outfit, which realistically would not fit Alois because Hana is so tall, so much taller than this child. But anyway, I digress. But basically, what I'm trying to say, and what the point is I'm trying to say, is it's just interesting how we have this heavy emphasis of a male gaze within this anime compared to how with Yana Toboso, where, you know, she's a woman and she's writing these women characters, and she's still very much giving, I don't want to say fan service, but, you know, she's still giving very beautiful women, you know, like Beast as well. Like, Beast is a very beautiful woman within Book of Circus. And I would specifically talk about something that is happening currently in the manga, but I'm not going to get into that. But it's interesting how you just have a comparison with a man writing and a woman writing, which, you know, it's just a very interesting topic, and I kind of don't need to get too much into it, but I just wanted to mention just how it's interesting to see how these characters are written differently and treated so differently within these works, even though it's the same, like, series, universe, I don't even know. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I'm so glad I wrote stuff down. But Hana also has this really weird, not weird, but she, like, kind of, I want to almost say out of nowhere has, it's not even, like, really shown in any way that, like, she really, like, loves Alois or anything. This is the problem. These characters, like, we're not shown this. It's like, it just comes from nowhere. And it's the same thing with Hana, where, like, Alois treats her poorly, and then all of a sudden it's like, I love you, you know, I will treat you, you know, as you want Claude, even though you want Claude, and it's just, it's very weird. And I guess Hana got this, I don't want to say infatuation, but this unconditional love for Alois from Alois's brother, who she made a contract with because Alois's brother wanted Alois's wishes to come true, and so, he made a contract with her because she, I guess, was an evil demon, but somehow, I guess, being with humans softened her heart, and so she loves humans or something. Or like the soul within, the brother's soul within Hana, like, softened her heart. And so when she eats Alois's soul, they're all together now, they're all happy, and it's so messy, and it's a disaster, and it doesn't make sense, and I guess she's the master manipulator, if I remember, behind all this, which, what? Okay, I guess, sure, she's the one behind all this, and again, I get a headache. I'm getting a headache talking about this, and I want to be done. I want to be done. I gotta be done. Because I'm about to rip my hair out. Like, as you can tell, I'm getting very antsy. I'm like, just thinking about it and talking about it, and I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm done. I love my makeup. I did so good. Okay, moving on to Triplets. I don't really know what you can really say about them. They're just kind of there. I guess the only real thing I can really say about them is how Claude kind of uses them as like fighting minions in a way, which almost can show, even, I mean, Hana as well, but like it almost kind of shows how like Claude, whether he's not confident enough that he could beat Sebastian on his own, or if he thinks he's weaker, but it's just interesting how, it's just Sebastian, and then Claude has mainly the triplets go after Sebastian when it's a fight, and, I mean, all it's really is they're just kind of the three mandatory other servants, because I feel like within the Trancy household, Hana is supposed to be, Tanaka, and then the triplets are Finny, Baldroy, and Mayrin. That's kind of how I feel. That's what this whole thing is, which, again, I don't really have anything really to say. They're demons, oh my gosh. And I guess they were Hana's minions before Hana and them joined Claude and stuff, and I don't know. I don't really have much to say about these three. I don't even know their names. I'm not going to bother looking up their names. If editing me wants to put their names up, I will do that, but I'm probably not even going to do that in editing, because that's just how much I don't care about these characters, and I have no interest in knowing about them, so. Moving on. I'm kind of just going to, like, group everyone together. This is basically the Season 1 characters, or, the canon, I guess you could say, characters from the manga. So, like, the Grim Reapers, Lao and Ren Mao, who I've mentioned before. You have the Phantom Hive servants, again, you have Mayrin, Finny, and Baldroy, and Tanaka. I mean, someone like the Phantom Hive servants you're obviously going to have, because, I mean, they're the servants, and, I mean, their shenanigans, they're still pretty. I loved it when they were in the river, and Baldroy just comes out with the geese. Or was it Finny? No, it was Baldroy. He was like, I got it! I found the white stag! And then, what did Finny do? I don't even remember. If I remember, I'm gonna write it down, but Finny did something also ridiculous, and they bring me so much joy. And I'm bitter that we didn't see much of William, because I love William. William is my man. I love him, but we only got to see him in like the last 3 episodes or something. And I miss him, and I love him, but anyway, I digress. But, yeah, I mean, all these characters are really here for cameos, I want to say, more or less. I also want to point out, he's not, like, a character from, like, Season 1, but the, like, twin brother of the detective guy, I don't remember his name, but my friend kept mentioning him. But it's in the train episode where he was this like twin brother of this detective dude was so annoying. I wanted to rip his hair. I wanted to like strangle him, and I'm so glad that he was only in 1 episode, because oh my gosh, I could never handle watching this dude over and over again. He was so obnoxious, and I'm just like, why is this character here? And why does he have to be related to this other dude? He could just be some guy from the Scottish Yard. He doesn't need to be... I'm gonna be done, and I'm just gonna scream, but my throat hurts, and so... I don't know if I can scream. Anyway. But... And I guess the stuff with, like, Growl is pretty great. But Growl, like, low-key gets annoying once in a while. I feel like there's a little too much Growl. But the stuff with Sebastian and Growl was really great. Like, when Sebastian was forced to stay away from Ciel, and Growl is there with Sebastian, and oh my gosh, that was actually really fun to watch, but I can't really complain, but just, I don't know, like, and Undertaker's there a couple times, and then, Prince Soma and Agni. Oh my gosh, when I saw Agni, I was like, it's Agni! I love Agni! I do. But, and, like, even stuff with, like, Prince Soma trying to get Ciel. I don't have any notes, but, like, Prince Soma, like, trying to get Ciel's memories back, like, it was, I don't know, Prince Soma is always, like, fun and quirky, and supposed to kind of being annoying because he is young. Well, I mean, compared to Ciel, he's older, but anyway, he's 19, so he's kind of still immature, and that's the point, and, you know, he was a spoiled prince and stuff, but, I don't know, even sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, I get it, like, but it was always really heartfelt that, like, it's always heartfelt when Prince Soma is, like, he's just so kind and loving, even if sometimes it comes off as, like, you're being a brat right now. But anyway, I can't be mad. It's the season one. It's all the main canon characters, like, that we just get to see again. But I don't know. They don't really provide much unless it's, again, someone like the Phantom Hive servants, where they're supposed to be there. Of course, they're there. I'm going to real quickly mention the OVAs that came from all this. Why there are so many, I don't know, and I can't explain why there's so many OVAs from this series. But, oh my gosh, there's just so many, and I don't know why. The Ciel in Wonderland, it's fun. It's cute. I can't be too mad about it. It's kind of fun to see all these characters in the Alice in Wonderland universe, and being the Alice in Wonderland universe and such. So, that's pretty cute and fun. I'm not mad about that. The filming of Black Butler 2 is so bizarre of an OVA. Like, I get why it exists, but I'm like, why does this exist? This is dumb. We don't, like, I guess the only good thing from it is we get to see Ciel and Sebastian in, like, street clothes, like, casual, normal people clothes, but it's weird how they, like, framed this as some sort of, like, it's a production, and it's a television show. I mean, it's a television show, but it was such a weird, like, concept story, and I just can't really wrap my head around why, like, it's there. I mean, it's fun, it's whatever, but I really can make do without it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Threats of the Spider story, the OVA, I didn't watch it because I just don't care, and I don't want to hear any more about Claude and his spiderry, and how he's a spider, and everyone's in his web, and arachnids, and nope, I didn't watch it, don't care to watch it, and no one's gonna convince me to watch it, because I just don't care. I don't care, and I'm so tired about hearing spiders. I don't need to hear about spiders. I don't want to hear about it. Moving on. This is the OVA I really want to talk about, because this is such a funny... Oh my gosh! We want to talk about fanfics? Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Phantom Hives is the funniest shit. It's so funny, and so fanficky, and for the fangirls, and it just makes me laugh. My friend and I were watching it, and we were just like, I couldn't stop cackling. I was like, this is so, oh my gosh. I mean, and I was low-key fangirling, but I was like, oh my gosh! It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's like, you're a friend of Elizabeth, but you're also a secret assassin, and oh no, you're kidnapped, and and then, it's your birthday, and it's just so ridiculous. I'm like, where's all this coming from? And you're such a good person, and you throw away the knife, and and you get to wear Ciel's mother's dress, like, and then Ciel just allows you to take his dead mother's dress with you, which I don't even know how, like, Ciel's mom's dress, Rachel's dress, would ever even be there, because the estate burned down. How does that work? It's just so ridiculous, and I'm just like, I just cackle, and I laugh, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, but I also love it. Like, I low-key, it's my guilty pleasure. I'm gonna be real, it's my guilty pleasure. And then lastly, the story of Will the Raper is honestly, it's Will. It was fun. It's cute. It's cute for what it is. Again, it's just a short little OVA about these side characters. It's cute to see William and Grell younger, and seeing them, interact before, obviously they become, like, real grim rapers and stuff, but it's just kind of cute. It's William, but William needs, I'm so glad William decided to slick his hair back, because him and with those bangs, no, I don't like it. And very lastly, I just want to quickly mention the music in this. Black Butler, especially, like, season 1, just has really excellent music. Like, as a whole, like, not all of the tunes are great, are bangers, but, whether it be the opening or the soundtrack, it's so great to listen to. I swear there's some stuff from season 1 that comes back in season 2. I could be completely wrong on that, but I swear a few songs from season 1 return. Specifically, Nigrim Calvem, let me say that again. Specifically, Nigrim Calvem, I think, and then the how do you say that? Si Deo me Reliquent. I can't say that. I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But I want to say those songs particularly return, but again, I could be completely wrong on this, and I don't want to have to rewatch the series to remember. So, I already rewatched it once, I'm not doing it again. And even the new OST tracks are pretty great. I really like the Butler of Trancy theme, not theme, but the Butler of Trancy track is really, really fun, and that whole scene of Claude, getting the dining room changed and fixed and stuff, that's always really fun, and it's just a fun track to listen to. I really, really like the moon is slightly chipped. I really like too that it's used as a leitmotif for Alois, because it also comes back within Fragile Mind and Corelli's. Again, I'm going to flash the name on the screen because I don't remember. I can't pronounce it for some reason. But specifically the tracks Fragile Mind and Corelli's are where they're used again, and it's just really, really, it's such a nice song. And honestly, it does really show the sadness of Alois within his soul, or his heart, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know, I can't really complain, and that the music honestly is the good part of this entire anime, where a lot of it I just don't really like, so at least we got good music out of it. And of course the opening and ending songs are pretty great. Shiver by the Gazette is a banger. Like, I wish I had video footage. I wish my friend would have recorded me, because sometimes I leave for a second while the opening's going, and I come back and the opening is still playing, and I just start swinging my head and banging my head and jamming along with the tunes, because Black Butler just has some great opening songs, so I just really, really love it. And I like that as I have been playing on my screen, I like that there's kind of two versions, at least for the video of the openings. I think that's kind of cool, where it's not it's half the season, we have the first part of the season and then we have the second part, it depends on which character we're going to be focusing on. The first episode we're focusing on Alois, so we have the Alois opening version of it, and then in some other episodes we have Ciel, so we have the Ciel version. I thought that was pretty cool. I always like it when anime kind of does that, where it's okay, we're mainly, where they kind of change it up, and it's okay, and now we're mainly you know, talking about this character, so we're gonna make this opening, or it's about this character, so I don't know, stuff like that. I really like it when anime does that, whether it be slightly changing something within the opening or just making a completely different opening. I always really like the ending song. Oh god, I don't even know if I can say that. I'm gonna flash the name. I'm just gonna flash the name because I can't say that. But that name is by Calafina. I love Calafina. Literally because of Black Butler, I got into Calafina, and low-key sad that they're not together anymore. But of course, these ladies kill it with the song. It's a very Black Butler. I think just because Lacrimosa is there, that we have this song, which just very much embodies more of Black Butler. And even, oh god, my notes are all goofed up. I don't know what's happening. Let me fix that. I know the title of the song is called Bird. I can't remember. The title of the song is called Bird, but I don't know what happened with my iPad, but it broke. But even the ending song, Bird, it's not my absolute favorite, but I still listen to it, like, if it's playing on my anime, playlist and it comes up, then I'll listen to it. But it's a much more slower song, but I still very much enjoy it, just like everything else. But yeah, that's the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope I never have to watch this anime ever again, because it was not fun, and editing this video is going to be not fun because editing is my downfall. But yeah, I love Black Butler. It's allowed me to get a lot of friends and stuff, but I just don't like it. I don't. But yeah. Anyway. Cool. Sup dudes, it's TDG here, and welcome to the end of this video. This is really different. It's very different. You guys definitely aren't going to be used to a video like this. I don't know, 2020, I think, no surprise, has been a very weird year for all of us around the world. And at first I was doing okay. I was doing a lot of art, I was drawing, I was making videos for you guys. I kind of slowed down a little bit because I did get a temporary job, so that caused me to I was tired a lot, so it kind of caused me to slow down a bit. But I'm kind of back, and I've definitely very much slowed down. I don't draw as much, at least right now. I probably take like 3 to 4 days, maybe even 5 days, sometimes even a week. Sometimes I don't even draw for a week. I don't know, I just kind of really need breaks in between, because I have my moments where I have a lot of inspiration. I draw a lot, but I kind of just been needing to draw more, not sporadically, but just not as often. I do still like sketch here and there, and I definitely still have ideas. So drawing it and speed paints are not going anywhere. I just really wanted to create something, but something that wasn't art and wasn't the speed paint. But don't worry, speed paints are not going anywhere. They're still very much there. I just kind of needed to do something new, and I thought something like this would be fun. It's kind of sad that this first video is kind of negative. It's not that it's not the best, but it's a little more negative, and hopefully if you guys really like a video like this, I can make something hopefully a little more positive, because, you know, it's good to spread good and love, and there's a lot of stuff I love, I swear. I love a lot more things than I do dislike things. I don't know. I watched Black Butler 2 with my friend like mid-October. I pondered about it for like 3 days, and then I don't know why, but on I think my birthday of all days, I was like, what if I made this into a video? Like, what if I just like made a video of me complaining about how I don't like Black Butler 2? I mean, it's been 10 years, so I was like, you know what, let's do it. Because there was another video back in 2019 I was going to make, but that obviously didn't happen, and I have the script mostly written, but I didn't finish it, and I don't know if I'll ever finish it. I'm not gonna tell you what that video is, but it's something very similar to this, but something that I more likely love. If I do feel like it, I might get the script finished and get that made too, but I don't know. This is kind of a really long video, and I feel really bad that this is a long ass video, so apologies. But yeah, don't worry. Like, I just really wanted to create something, but something that wasn't art, and I felt like with the little video edits that I've been making, specifically like the, you know, favorite animations from anime video that I made, little like stuff like the green screen video I made, just little stuff like that I wanted to make, and I thought just like, you know what, let's just make a video and get it made. And surprisingly, I got this done surprisingly quick. I didn't expect this because, again, I thought of writing the script on the 29th of October, my birthday, and I got it fully written. It's like, what, the 5th when I'm filming this? I got it filmed November 4th, so about like 5-6 days completed the script. At least it started off as like a full-on script, like every single word I'm going to say is written, but it then just turned into like, okay, here's some bullet points that I really want to make sure that I remember and talk about, more than, okay, let's write down every single word, because I think, as some of you can probably tell, I'm not the best at explaining things, like especially something like this, like explaining my reasons, explaining my feelings about something. I think that's why I've been so hesitant to make videos like this, because I'm just so, I feel like I just can't, I don't know how to convey myself properly, or at least it feels like it. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from and stuff like that, and I probably repeat myself quite a bit, and I hope I don't repeat myself too much, but yikes. But anyway, again, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I, honest to God, did enjoy making the video, and I hope you guys liked my makeup in that. I was a little scared because that's not the exact makeup I wear to work, but I wanted to just, you know, be all dolled up and look nice for a video, and unlike right now where I don't look the absolute best. But I hope you guys just enjoy it, and if you like the video, please give it a like. That will let me know if you want to see more like this, and if you maybe want to see more stuff, feel free to comment. You know, maybe you love Black Butler too, and you know what, why do you love it? Maybe there's something I'm missing where I just, you know, it's always, I like to hear other opinions, and I want to see your perspective, like why, maybe if you do love Black Butler too, why do you personally love it, where, you know, as me, as clearly by this entire video, I don't really like it that much. But, you know, or if you just want to trash talk me and tell me how stupid I am because I don't know what I'm talking about and I sound like a dummy that don't know how to talk, like, please go ahead too, I guess. But yeah, but also please, again, I should also mention, please don't spoil anything, specifically from the manga. You know, again, this is right now only Book of the Atlantic. That whole arc is adapted only up to then. Anything after that, please don't spoil it for people. And again, Black Butler 2 has nothing to do with the manga, so, but yeah, but no spoilers for mangas, please. I more than likely will delete your video if you do, so let's really try to just avoid that because it's not really necessary. But anyway, I love you guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and I need to stop talking and I need to finish editing this video because I'm actually having a lot of fun editing it, so that's a good thing. Anyway, see you guys. I don't know when I'll see you again. I don't know when you'll see me again, but I should hopefully have another speed paint video out eventually. I'm gonna post when I want to. But yeah, see you guys later, I guess. Bye bye.